In today's video, I'm going to talk about how late nights, so being up on your computer late at night, jet lag, and eating late at night can really mess up your gut. And they're behind dysbiosis, which is behind a whole host of different symptoms. Things like fatigue, skin issues, bloating, constipation, all different things. So if you're new to my channel, thanks for checking this out. My name's Nathan Walz, and I help people look younger and feel younger, and I do that by teaching them how to optimize their body's energy production. And I do that through really targeting the mitochondria. So the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and that's the number one key to you having great health or to you getting sick. So back to today's video. So your body has a circadian rhythm. So your circadian rhythm, it controls what happens when throughout the day. And as one of my mentors likes to say, Dr. Jack Cruz, he gives a great analogy, and he talks about a big box store, so like a Home Depot or a Costco or something. If they were to get all their deliveries time in the day, there would be complete chaos in the store. It'd be a mess. But these stores, they have it timed throughout the day to receive their different deliveries. They have things shipping out, different things like that. Well, your body does the same thing. So different hormones are released at different times of the day. There are different times of the day when your testosterone is optimized. There are different times of the day where your body's detoxification is optimized. And when these things get out of sync, you can have a lot of things go awry. And it starts off with things like fatigue. And as this goes on and you get more and more inflammation, you get more and more symptoms, and this can lead to chronic disease. So everything in your body has a circadian rhythm, and when your circadian rhythm gets thrown off, that has an impact on your body's energy production. That has an impact on your body's growth. So your cells are continually regenerating, and different cells, your muscle cells, your skin cells, your different organ cells, they have different rates of regeneration, and that's all controlled by your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm controls your hormones. So I mentioned there's a certain time of day when testosterone is optimized. In the morning, your cortisol is high, and as you go throughout the day, it gets lower and lower. In the absence of light, your melatonin gets higher. But it turns out that all of your organs, they also have clocks. So your gut has clocks, and even the bacteria in your gut have a circadian rhythm. So when you stay up late at night, if you're on your computer, you don't have your blue blockers on, you're not protecting yourself from blue light, that messes up your clock. If you eat at night, so when you eat, that also has an effect on your circadian rhythm. If you're a business traveler, and with COVID going on, that's not as big of a thing. People are working through Zoom now. There's a lot less travel. But if we get back to that, and if that's you, if you're a traveler, this can also mess up the clocks in your gut. And one of the things that happens in your gut when your clocks get messed up is dysbiosis, which is an imbalance in the bacteria in your gut. So you have thousands and thousands of different bacterial species in your gut, and a major key to your health is having a proper balance of these bacteria. And when you get an imbalance, you can get a whole host of different symptoms. So it doesn't mean you're going to get all these different symptoms. It affects us all differently. It depends on the imbalance that we're dealing with. And it just depends on what else you have going on with your body. But some of the major ones, one of the big ones is IBS, Irritable Bowel Syndrome. So that can mean you get chronic diarrhea, you get constipation, or maybe you bounce back and forth between those things. You might have bloating. You might have pain when you eat. And I suffered from this for years. I really had no idea what it was. The very stinky bowel movements, maybe that's TMI. But if you have very smelly bowel movements, chronic stinky farts, that's a good indication that you have dysbiosis. You're getting a fermentation in your gut of bad bacteria. In your gut, you do want it to be fermenting things. But when you have good fermentation, you don't have smelly gas, you don't have stinky burps, you don't have room clearing poops, things like that. Another one is glucose intolerance. So different these different bacteria in your gut, they break down different foods. And when you're missing the bacteria to break down different foods, that can have an impact on a lot of different things. But when you have the wrong kind of bacteria, or when you're missing some key bacteria, you don't handle glucose well. And that sets you up for diabetes and obesity, because you just store that glucose as fat. And lots of times when people have glucose intolerance, they have a fat intolerance as well. And that's one of the reasons they really struggle with losing weight. So if you've tried dieting, if you tried exercise, and you have a very clean diet, dysbiosis could be driving that and preventing your body from losing that weight. So you've really got to fix dysbiosis to be able to lose weight and get to a place you want to be. Food allergies. So as I was saying before, different kinds of bacteria break down different kinds of food. So just ask yourself, why can my friend eat a ton of gluten and seem to be fine? They have bread, they have pasta, and if they eat it, they're fine. But when I eat it, I have a really bad reaction. And the reason is because they have the right kind of bacteria in their gut to break down gluten. And I'm not saying gluten doesn't cause some level of inflammation in them, because it most likely does, but it's much less than it does in you, because they have the right kind of bacteria to break that down. Same with lectins. So think like eating beans. Same with lactose. So by getting the right balance in your gut of these different bacteria, you can actually have the bacteria to break down these different foods that might be giving you a hard time. And when I was dealing with Lyme disease, before I found out I had Lyme disease, I had pretty much all of the symptoms that I'm going through, and I was very sensitive to gluten. I can now eat gluten. It's not an issue. And I don't eat it all the time. I choose not to eat it all the time. If I ate it every single day, I'd probably get issues again. But sometimes I'm out and I want to slice a pizza. Sometimes I want to make pasta for dinner. And provided I do these things more occasional than day to day, I don't have any issue with it. And I don't get that food coma that I used to get. But it all comes down to getting that right balance in your gut. Skin issues. So lots of times having the wrong mix of bacteria in your gut, that can cause really bad acne. That can cause psoriasis. It can cause different rashes. So if you're breaking out a lot and you have a clean face, you wash your face, you eat a pretty healthy diet, it probably comes down to having the wrong kind of balance in your gut. So you got to fix that. Anxiety and depression. So you make a lot of neurotransmitters in your gut. They're transported to your brain through your vagus nerve. But two of the neurotransmitters, you make these in your brain as well, but you also make a lot of them in your gut. Two of the big ones are dopamine and serotonin. So when you don't have a lot of dopamine, you don't have motivation. It's a real challenge for you to stick to task and to get things done. When you also don't think as well. So you really need good levels of dopamine to think really well, to be creative, to get into a flow state. A major driver of that is dopamine. And 80% of your serotonin is made in your gut. So when you have low serotonin, that's behind depression. So a lot of these brain-based things actually start in the gut, because the brain and the gut are very related. But dysbiosis also creates inflammation. So anytime you have inflammation in the gut, that creates inflammation in the brain. And just kind of depending on what you're dealing with, that might show up as anxiety. That might show up as depression. It might show up as brain fog. It might show up as migraine headaches. It might show up as mental fatigue. So when you're working on something, you don't necessarily get that feeling of brain fog where it's really hard to think. But when you're working on something, you just might feel very mentally tired. So all these things, there could be other causes too, but dysbiosis is behind all these different things. Achy joints. So when you have dysbiosis, that can create high levels of lipopolysaccharides, LPS, which it's an endotoxin. So when these bad bacteria are killed in your gut, they release this LPS. And when you have dysbiosis, probably means you have a leaky gut as well, which means these LPS get into your bloodstream. They can travel to your organs. they can travel all over your body, but they can get in your joints. They can cause achy joints. Too much LPS can cause organ damage in different organs. It can mess up your brain. It can really mess up a lot of different things. And then fatigue. So when you don't have good digestion, when you don't have the right balance of bacteria in your gut, that impacts your body's ability to make energy. And remember, your gut has a genome in it. So depending on the mix of bacteria in your gut, that depends on the genes you have in your gut. And those genes can either drive longevity or they can speed up aging and disease. So having the right mix of bacteria in your gut actually has either a positive, or having the right mix has a positive influence on the mitochondrial genome. And the mitochondrial genome, when that's working well, that has a positive influence on the human genome or your DNA. So to really have optimal health, you've got to get all of these right. You've got to get them all working together. So it's very important, if you're not blocking blue light at night, if you have these gut issues and you're not blocking blue light at night, this could be a cause. It could be something else, but this could be a cause, and it might be something that you want to look at, might be something you want to experiment with for a while. But by fixing your circadian rhythm, that's going to get you one step closer to healing your gut and getting a healthier mix of bacteria in your gut, so you can stop having these different symptoms, which, let's face it, they have a huge impact on your life. When you're not feeling good, when you don't have a lot of energy, lots of times we don't want to hang out with friends, we don't want to hang out with family. When we do hang out with friends and family and we're dealing with those things, we're not at our best. And I know, because I lived this for many, many years, I could be a very unpleasant person to be around. And having energy just makes life so much better. You're so much more productive, and you have a lot more time to do the things that are important to you. So blocking blue light at night, that's very important. Also, not eating at night. So you want to eat when it's daylight out, because when you eat at night, once the sun is down, that has an impact on your circadian rhythm. Now, if you're a business traveler, there's only so much you can avoid with that, but there are some hacks you can do. I do have another video on hacking jet lag, and I'll put a link below in the description. So if you scroll through the description box, you can find a link to that video, and you can find some specific things that you could do so you can hack jet lag. So I hope this helps. I'll also put some links below to my favorite blue blocking glasses. So if you're not blocking blue light at night, you definitely want to be doing that. Not just your eyes. Your eyes are the most important thing to protect, but also your skin. So we're heading into fall now. The days are getting much shorter. And once the sun sets, I put on a hoodie. I have long pants on. I don't wear shorts anymore. I normally wear shorts. But now that it's getting darker earlier, I'm covering my skin up, because the skin also has photoreceptors. So I want to protect my circadian rhythm. It is getting colder out now, but anytime you can eat outside, anytime you can get sunlight on your gut, that's also going to help you have a healthier gut and help you have a healthier mix of your bacteria. Another thing that you want to be doing is, on my computer, I have Iris, which is a software installed that reduces blue light. Now, Windows and most Mac software does come with blue light reduction software. The reason I like Iris Tech is because Iris also reduces flicker effect. So I'll put a link for that below as well. So check those out. But you really do want to protect your circadian rhythm, because dysbiosis is just one thing that happens when you don't protect your circadian rhythm. I'll also put the research paper below that shows that when you mess up your circadian rhythm, when you have jet lag, that this specifically causes dysbiosis. So if you have any questions, put them below. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. That allows more people to see this. It raises it in Google's search results. And if you found value, if you know somebody else that suffers from this and they've tried every different thing, they've spent a lot of money on probiotics, they've eliminated gluten and inflammatory foods from their diet, but they still struggle, share this video with them, because this could be the missing link. So I hope this helps, and I will see you again real soon.